At dawn's vibrant glow, Logan, a spirited young park ranger, spots lion cubs frolicking perilously close to a treacherous cliff. Suddenly, as a chunk of rock crumbles away, one cub plunges toward the abyss, setting off a heart-stopping chain of events that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Before continuing the story, tell me which city you're watching from. I want to know how far this video has come. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so I can send you exciting stories like this every day. Thank you. Logan was a youthful and lively park ranger who had just begun his career in a national park. His love for nature and wildlife had been evident since childhood, and he had always aspired to have such a profession. Each day, Logan looked forward with enthusiasm to new adventures and opportunities to assist the park's creatures. The national park where Logan worked was home to many animal species, but it was especially known for its population of African lions. There were about 30 lions in the park, so Logan felt a special responsibility for their health and well-being. One early morning, Logan set off in his Jeep to patrol the park's territory. The sun was just beginning to rise over the horizon, painting the sky in gentle pink and orange hues. The air was fresh and cool, filled with the scents of blooming plants. Logan's route passed through a rocky area where one of the lion prides lived. These rocks were an ideal habitat for the lions, offering them shelter, shaded resting areas, and vantage points for hunting. As Logan moved closer to the rocks, he spotted a group of young lions playing near the edge of a cliff. Their carefree jumps and chases made the ranger smile, but also feel worried. He knew how dangerous this place could be, especially for inexperienced animals. Suddenly, Logan saw part of the rock beginning to crumble under the paws of the playing lions. The ranger's heart raced as he realized the impending danger. He hoped the adult lions would call the cubs away from the edge in time. One of the older lions, noticing the danger, stood up and began to roar loudly, calling the young ones to move away from the edge. However, the playful youngsters, engrossed in their fun, did not immediately respond to the warning. Seeing that his calls were being ignored, the older lion decisively moved toward the cubs. His mighty roar finally caught the attention of the playing lions, and they started to retreat from the dangerous edge. But it was already too late. The movement of the heavy adult lion was the final straw for the unstable cliff edge. A large piece of rock broke off, taking one of the young lions with it. Logan watched in horror as the lion slipped off the cliff. Luckily, the animal was able to latch onto a rocky ledge with its claws, but its situation remained highly perilous. Without assistance, the lion would not be able to cling on for much longer. Without hesitation, Logan picked up his radio and urgently called for support. He quickly explained the situation and requested immediate assistance. The ranger knew that they had to act quickly or the lion would fall to the rocks below. Making a decision, Logan immediately drove toward the cliff in his Jeep. He needed to drive the other lions away to safely carry out the rescue operation. By honking loudly and maneuvering the Jeep, Logan hoped that the noise and movement would scare the predators away. To his relief, the tactic worked. The pride began to retreat, clearing the area around the cliff. Once the last lion disappeared from view, Logan jumped out of the vehicle and ran to the edge of the cliff. Peering over the edge, the ranger spotted the lion desperately gripping the rock. The animal let out distressing cries, its claws struggling to maintain a hold on the slippery stone. Logan understood that he only had a few minutes before the lion's strength would give out. Quickly returning to the Jeep, Logan took out strong ropes from the trunk. He started unrolling them, figuring out how best to tie the lion to pull it up. At that moment, Logan heard the long-awaited sound of approaching Jeeps. His colleagues had arrived to help. Wasting no time, the Rangers immediately got to work, following Logan's instructions. Together, they created a system of ropes and began lowering one end down to the stranded lion. Logan, as the initiator of the rescue operation, took on the most dangerous part, tying the lion with ropes. Carefully approaching the edge of the cliff, Logan began to lower the rope. Sorry for the interruption. Before we continue with the story, I kindly ask you to like the video and subscribe to this channel. It is very important for us. Thank you very much. The lion seemed to understand that people were trying to help it and did not show any aggression. Its amber eyes were full of fear and hope. With immense effort, Logan successfully secured the rope around the lion's body. The animal instinctively flinched, nearly plunging into the chasm, but the ranger spoke to it in a calming voice. Astonishingly, the lion appeared to comprehend and relaxed, allowing him to complete fastening the rope. When the lion was securely fastened, Logan gave the signal to the other rangers to start lifting. It was a difficult task. The weight of the adult lion was immense, and the unstable surface of the cliff made the work even harder. The rangers pulled with all their might, slowly lifting the lion up. Logan encouraged his colleagues and the lion, understanding that the animal's life depended on their coordinated efforts. Every inch was hard-won, but they did not give up. Finally, after several grueling minutes, the lion's face appeared over the edge of the cliff. A few more pulls and the animal was on solid ground. Exhausted but still alive, the lion lay on the grass, breathing heavily. The rangers retreated, allowing the animal more space. All except Logan. The young man, driven by some inner impulse, stayed close to the animal. He slowly knelt beside the lion, looking directly into its eyes. In that moment, a spark of understanding seemed to pass between the man and the beast. The lion showed no aggression, but looked at Logan with something resembling gratitude. The ranger carefully began removing the ropes, and the lion allowed him to do so, not moving from its spot. When the last rope was removed, the lion slowly rose to its feet. It looked at Logan one more time, gave a quiet roar that sounded more like a purr, and slowly walked away towards its pride. The rangers watched this scene in awe, amazed by the bond that had formed between the man and the wild animal. After this incident, life in the park returned to normal. Logan continued his work, but often thought about the rescued lion. He hoped to see it up close again, but knew the chances were slim. Several months passed. The monsoon season arrived, a period that rangers always faced with apprehension. Torrential rains carried the risk of floods and landslides, which could severely endanger the park's wildlife. One morning, amidst an exceptionally intense downpour, Logan was making his routine patrol. Visibility was poor, and the Jeep's wipers struggled to keep up with the streams of water on the windshield. The ranger moved slowly, carefully scanning the surroundings for animals in distress. Suddenly, Logan noticed a large fallen tree ahead. Deciding to check it out, he stopped the Jeep and stepped out into the pouring rain. Pulling the hood of his jacket over his head, the ranger headed towards the tree, thinking about how many small animals might have lost their homes because of its fall. Logan was so engrossed in his thoughts that he didn't immediately hear the growing roar. When he finally noticed it, it was too late. Turning around, the ranger saw a massive wall of mud and debris rushing towards him. An enormous landslide was coming straight at him. In a panic, Logan attempted to run back to the Jeep, but quickly realized he wouldn't reach it in time. The only possible refuge was the fallen tree. Racing toward it, the ranger climbed as high as he could, gripping the trunk tightly with both his arms and legs. Moments later, the wave of mud hit Logan. He felt the powerful force trying to rip him away from the tree. The ranger clung to the trunk with all his might, praying to withstand the onslaught of the elements. When the first wave subsided, Logan found himself buried under a thick layer of mud and debris. Fortunately, a small pocket of air had formed around his face, allowing him to breathe. But the ranger knew his situation was still extremely dangerous. Logan tried to move but found himself almost completely immobilized. The dense layer of mud restrained his movements. The ranger tried to stay calm, knowing that panic would only make things worse. Time passed and Logan began to worry. He knew his colleagues would be busy dealing with the landslide's aftermath throughout the park. How long would it take before someone noticed his absence and started looking for him? All of a sudden, Logan heard a faint yet distinct noise coming from above him. At first, it was barely noticeable, just a soft rustling sound amidst the heavy, damp silence of the earth pressing down on him. Through a narrow gap between the debris, he detected movement, and for a fleeting moment he thought he saw a flash of sand-colored fur passing by. His heart pounded in his chest, but he quickly dismissed the thought it must have been a trick of his exhausted mind. After all, how could a lion possibly be in this place, especially in such treacherous conditions? However, the noise did not stop. Instead, it grew louder, more persistent. Logan strained his ears, trying to make sense of what was happening above him. Then he felt something heavy shifting on the muddy surface just overhead. He held his breath, his body tensed. Was it another landslide about to bury him completely? Panic flickered through his mind as he braced himself for the worst. But then something unexpected happened. Rather than being engulfed by more debris, Logan felt the crushing weight on his body begin to lighten, little by little. It was as if someone or something was removing the dirt and rocks, freeing him from his earthy prison. His mind raced with possibilities. Could it be a rescue team? Or had an animal, by some incredible stroke of luck, stumbled upon his location? Then a deep, resonant sound reached his ears. A roar, powerful and commanding, echoing through the storm-laden air. A chill ran down Logan's spine. It was unmistakable. A lion. And yet it wasn't a sound of aggression or threat. It was something else entirely. Moments later, he heard human voices cutting through the noise of the rain. Relief flooded through him. The Rangers had arrived. They were searching for him. Summoning every ounce of strength he had left, Logan tried to call out, but his voice came out as nothing more than a hoarse whisper. Still, it seemed they knew exactly where to look. Perhaps they had been led to him by something, or someone. Minutes passed like an eternity. Then suddenly, a beam of light pierced through the layers of mud and debris, blinding him momentarily. Fresh air rushed into his lungs, filling them with life. He gasped, savoring the crisp, clean breath, feeling as if he had been reborn. Strong hands reached down and pulled him free from his entrapment, lifting him out of the wreckage. And that was when Logan saw something he could barely comprehend. Standing beside the group of Rangers was a massive lion, its golden fur drenched and matted with mud. But despite its disheveled state, Logan recognized it instantly. It was the same lion he had saved from the cliff several months ago, the very same animal he had risked his life for. And now, against all odds, it had returned the favor. Somehow, the lion had managed to find the exact spot where Logan had been trapped and had begun digging. Its unusual behavior had drawn the attention of the other Rangers, who had followed its lead and, in doing so, had discovered Logan beneath the rubble. He was alive because of this lion. Logan could hardly believe what had happened. The idea that a wild animal, a predator by nature, had recognized him, remembered him, and even saved him in return was beyond anything he had ever imagined. A deep sense of gratitude swelled in his chest. As he sat there recovering from the ordeal, the lion locked eyes with him. There was something in its gaze, something unspoken yet profoundly understood. It was a silent acknowledgement, a bond that transcended species. Not just gratitude, but perhaps the beginning of an extraordinary friendship between man and beast. In the days that followed, something remarkable occurred. The lion, once elusive and wary of humans, no longer avoided people in the park. Though it still kept its distance, Logan would often see it during his patrols, and each time they would exchange a look, one filled with mutual respect and understanding. Logan's journey is not merely a series of heart-stopping moments in the wild. It is a testament to the power of compassion and the extraordinary bond that can form between man and animal. From the perilous brink of a collapsing cliff to the overwhelming force of a landslide, Logan faced unimaginable challenges. In the end, it was the very lion he once rescued that returned the favor, guiding the rescue team and saving his life. This story is a celebration of courage, resilience, and the unexpected miracles that arise when empathy meets the wild. If you found Logan's emotional and thrilling adventure as captivating as we did, make sure to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Each video is packed with inspiring stories that remind us of the beauty and unpredictability of nature. Join our community of nature lovers and adventurers, and never miss a moment of these unforgettable journeys. Subscribe now and be a part of the ongoing exploration into the wonders of our natural world.